we had a little bit of a technical hiccup here, so we are a couple minutes late, but at any rate, I'm Charlotte Piper. I am the owner of Dragonfly Oracle Inc., and joining me today is Monica Edwards from the Living Well 365. Monica, would you like to say hello?
Hello, everybody. I'm excited to chat with you today.
Excellent. So we just have a couple of quick announcements. And just a brief introduction. Of course, myself, again, I'm the owner of Dragonfly Oracle Inc. I have multiple different outlets through which I try to reach out to people and touch people in my own way. I have an online apothecary, an online metaphysical shop, and I have a passion for bringing people to the live broadcast on Guru Tuesday who have been professionals that I've worked with in my own life or have inspired me. And of course, that would today that would be Monica from the Living Well 365. A couple of quick announcements. Of course, if you've been following me for any amount of time, I've been talking about a workshop I've recently been writing. It's a masterclass called Be Your Own Guru. And it's going to be a really powerful 4-week immersive process. We'll meet every Wednesday evening for about an hour and kind of go through the process of breaking down some limiting thought patterns and paradigms that can typically hold us back from achieving greatness and redesigning the life of our dreams. And essentially that's what Be Your Own Guru is all about. So I want to invite you to visit my website, dragonflyoracle.com. And you can find information about how to enroll in that masterclass beginning on July 6th by clicking on the store link and then clicking on the masterclass. Or, of course, you can get a hold of me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, any number of ways. And with that, Monica has something she would like to share as well, and I'm going to go ahead and turn it over.
Yeah, so Shar and Sparky, being myself, and Charlotte Piper being Shar, are collaborating on a show, and it's going to be a live broadcast. And it all started when we were sitting on my deck one day, and we were talking about life and how life can chew you up and spit you out when you're not paying attention, but if you grow through those circumstances. So the theory behind the show is bringing humor and wisdom to life circumstances. And we're really, really excited to bring our knowledge, wisdom, and our humor to you live in a live broadcast. So, and that will be July 15th at 11 a.m. And you can tune in on the live broadcast on either of our websites. So very excited for that to come.
Of course. And we, of course, will be simulcasting that on either Monica's website, which is thelivingwell365.com, or my site, dragonflyoracle.com. So be sure to tune in to the Shar and Sparky show beginning July. The premiere, of course, will be July 15th, as previously mentioned. We're both really excited to bring this to you. It's live, it's uncut, it's unscripted, and it's just like life. So with that, I want to just talk a little bit about real quickly how, I guess not necessarily how Monica and I met, because we've been kind of racking our brains trying to figure out exactly when our paths crossed, and there's a couple different theories about that, but essentially the point is we became friends, and then we kind of lost contact for a little while, and then I was going through something particularly challenging in my life, and Monica was kind enough to reach out to me and sort of reach her hand out to me and lift me up when I was in a really dark place, and help encourage and coach me to stand firm in my power as a human being and an empowered female consciouspreneur. And so with Guru Tuesday, it's my own way of kind of sharing the love, so to speak, with folks, especially like Monica, and I'm extremely grateful to be able to do this with her. And with that in mind, of course, she's a health and wellness coach, but she also does a lot of life coaching, and a lot of the services that she provides to her clients tend to intermingle. And with that, I just wanted to have Monica tell us a little bit about what led her to working as a life, health, and wellness coach?
That's an interesting question, Charlotte. And I think that every aspect of my life has led up to this. If you would have asked me as a young child or in my former career or told me that I would be doing this, I wouldn't have believed it. I would have been excited about it, but I would have believed it because the path that I was walking at that time was more linear and more acceptable, I guess you should say, to the general public. But I can tell you that one common theme I've had throughout my life is that people would come to me, and they're typically my friends, and they reciprocate as well, but they would come to me with their issues or problems, and we would be able to discuss them. So I always felt that I was someone who was a confidant to others. And ironically enough, my name, the meaning behind it is advisor, woman of wisdom and advisor. So that's quite interesting. So I guess to talk about where I am now, I need to talk about my past. So I do have 2 degrees, and my background is in law enforcement. I served as a special agent for the United States government for the Department of Insurance under the Air Force jurisdiction as a civilian. Loved that career. I later did counterintelligence work overseas as a liaison, and then went into my own business, and then I went into insurance fraud investigations. But as I think of that, all of that is a piece of the puzzle that got me to where I am today. Because all of those skills, being a people person and being able to connect with people from all different walks of life, definitely behooves me in my current career. So, but the problem was I found myself being very, very unhealthy. And unfortunately, I was the stereotypical law enforcement person. I hate to say that, but I was. And I'm not saying that's for everyone else, but that's what I was. I was a smoker. I was a pack-a-day smoker. I was a Pepsi drinker. I was a fast food junkie, and on and on and on. And I was overweight, and I did not have any energy. So it was in about 2007 where I kind of put my foot down with myself and decided that I was in charge of my health, because no one else is responsible for my health but me, not my doctors, not my former spouse or my spouse or whoever I'm in a relationship with. I am in charge of that. So I did ultimately, I quit smoking, and then I started doing healthier things, right? And then I realized that it was the trickle-down effect. Those people were sharing with me what they did for health and wellness and fitness. And then I started expanding into the spiritual world. So years ago, when I decided to go full-time into this profession, people were asking me, so what are you going to do now? And my answer was, I don't know. But I did several different things. I got my certification as a personal trainer. I went to a life and spiritual life coaching school, and I went to a health coaching school. And I did have some people that were going, well, who's going to pay for your services? And, you know, there's always going to be naysayers out there. And I didn't know what it was going to look like, and I didn't know how I was going to form it, but I just kept feeling drawn in this path. And yeah, it sounds like a hodgepodge of stuff, but it actually has come together to work quite well. So that's where I've been, and that's where I'm at today. And I use all of those tools in my little toolbox.
Very, very good. Excellent. I think you probably touched on my second question a little bit, but would you describe a day in the life of Monica Edwards prior to becoming a health and wellness / life coach?
Right. So get up, get my coffee and cigarettes, and get to work, sitting at a desk all day. And when I was doing investigative work from a home office, unless I was out interviewing people, a lot of interviews were done over the phone, I was very sedentary. And there was no workout, so it was very sedentary, drinking coffee till noon and Pepsi from there on. And so therefore I know, because that's where I was compared to what I am today, if I can do it, anyone can do it. It takes finding your right motivation. I've learned how to teach people that motivation as well, to find out what their nugget is.
Okay, very good. All right, so with that in mind, let's see. What is it that drives you to help others live the greatest version of themselves?
So I think it goes back to my story as well. right? And twofold, my story and that life, every experience you have is a piece of the puzzle to get you to where you need to be, right? And to where you're supposed to be in this lifetime. So I know how I felt and how I felt worn out, overworked, exhausted. My cup was not full, low energy. There was depression as well. And then I compare myself to where I feel that I'm at now. And don't get me wrong, I have bad days just like everybody else. You know, I'm not a superhero. We all have bad days, but I also have tools to help work through that. And I got a great network of people, including Charlotte and one of my besties, Grace. I know she's out there watching. You have your go-to people, you know, when life does get hard. So the combination of where I was and now I know where I'm at now, and the knowledge I have and what a difference I feel in my life, along with I want to help people on their path. And they may not go from A to Z in 0.2 seconds. It may take years, like it took me. A lot of times it's one step at a time, but I want to share that joy, share that vibrancy, and be able to help them in their own journey. And you know, if you are paying attention through life, you learn something from everybody that you come in contact with, everybody.
Agreed. Absolutely. I'm a very big believer that everybody that comes to our lives is either a blessing or a lesson. And some of them are both.
You know what? If they're a lesson, they're still a blessing. That's
Indeed.
One way to look at it, right? We have to look at it that way.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, so could you share a little bit about your process when working with clients?
So I guess the first thing, because I do so many different, I use different modalities. The first thing I do is figure out, are they here for the whole shebang, which would be a health issue, right? Or is it life issues, or is it weight loss, or is it all three? Because frequently it is all three. And so the first thing I do is kind of get to know them. You know, you've got to develop a rapport with people. And I've got the ability to do that because I'm a lover of people. I absolutely love people. I enjoy getting to know them and what makes them tick. So the first thing is to figure out why they're there and go through that consultation process. And then we may do what's called a biofeedback scan. And that is pretty cool because that biofeedback scan, which reads 76 biomarkers in your body, not only reads all of your internal organs, all 22 internal organs and all 11 systems, but it reads emotions, right? Which is really, really cool because when emotions come up and I start chatting with them about those things, a lot of times that opens up the door, right, for issues that need to be discussed. Because I've learned that all these things are intertwined. If someone just comes to me for weight loss, and I have them bring a food log in, right, and I ask them about their prior attempts, and if they've yo-yoed back and forth, have never kept the weight off, a lot of times there's reasonings behind it. Because, and I myself was probably one of them, people wear their weight as a shield, guarding them from the outside because of traumatic experiences. And a lot of times they're not ready to talk about that right off the bat. But if we do a biofeedback scan, not only is it going to tell us what the emotions are that are running high, right? Whether it's the nervousness or needing to let go of things in their life, which could be forgiveness or what have you. It brings up a whole new discussion. But it also tells us, so say there are really no emotional baggage, which we all have unless we've dealt with it, right? It's something that everyone has. And the idea is that you carry it well because you've dealt with it, you've worked through it. So say they've worked through it. We still do the biofeedback scan because that will also tell me other reasons why they may not be losing weight. And I would like to chat about those really, really quick. And I know we're just talking about the processes I use. I had one gal who had gone through radiation and chemotherapy, and I looked at her log. She was not able to lose the weight that she wanted despite all of the efforts and things that her former trainer and nutritionist had done for her. So with that, I knew there was something going on inside the body. And we did the biofeedback scan, and we found several reasons why she wasn't able to lose the weight. And so the radiation and chemo had thrown her into menopause, even though she wasn't at the menopausal age. And so when you're in menopause, it's your hormones are out of balance. So those two things right there. Menopause, you're going to gain weight. Hormones are out of whack. You're going to have a hard time getting it off. We also found that her liver was clogged up on the scan, and that's from the prescription medications. If you think about it, the liver is your filter for the body. It's also the fat burner for the body, right? Would you ever drive a car for 30, 40 years and change the oil, but never change the filter? Probably not. You need to change that filter, or i.e. clean it out. And if your liver is clogged and you're not losing weight, it's the fat burner for the body. So you need to think about that as well. She also had candida in the body. So we all have yeast in our body, men and women, and an overgrowth can cause you to have what they refer to as candida and turn into leaky gut and all kinds of other health issues. So going back to the beginning and looping around, the processes I use are basically assessment. Find out from them why they're here. And then as I start doing assessments by chatting with them, we figure out what all services they do need. And a lot of times it changes midstream. A client may come in for nutrition, they're in their 4th week, and they have an emotional breakdown right when they walk in the door. And that's when you change hats and go to the life coaching to work through different issues.
That's good stuff, and I know from personal experience that that's exactly what happened to me. Monica's seen quite a few of my tears, and yeah. But thankfully, due to her, friendship and coaching, I'm in a much better place in all ways. So, with that in mind, you kind of talked about some of the steps that you take with clients with regard to your process, but I'd like to just maybe get a little bit better idea of how you help so that they can avoid repeating the same behaviors that previously caused them to have trouble losing weight or have trouble breaking through, with their business or whatever the case may be, in whatever capacity you're serving them. So could you talk a little bit about that?
We can, and it's 2 different processes for weight loss versus blocks that they're having in their life, right? So let's start with the weight loss, and then we'll go to the blocks. So the weight loss clients, and even the life coaching clients, I tend to see every 7 days, especially the weight loss clients, because every 7 days, they know they're being held accountable to make better choices. And I talk to them about making choices good, better, and best. And every 7 days, we talk about what worked, what didn't work, right? And what are those barriers? And what if you come across that same situation next time? How will you handle it now? Let's talk about some possible ideas. And I let them do the brainstorming. A good coach doesn't give you all the answers. A good coach draws those answers out of you. So I'm more than willing, if they get stuck and I've said, what else can you think of 2 or 3 times, and nothing else comes to mind, I will ask if they don't mind if I put my intuitive side in and my experience in and give my input. And it could be as simple as Aunt Sally had a birthday party and I arrived and there was pizza and beer. What could I do besides eat a half a pizza and drink 3 pints of beer? So, and there are options to that. It may be that I do that 11-piece protein shake all the time, and I usually will have one before I go to an event. That way I'm not starving. Find out what the food is before, offer to bring a dish. There's just tons and tons of ideas. When it comes to the life coaching aspect, or if it's an issue they have that keeps them from losing the weight and keeping it off because they're using it as a suit of armor or suit of protection for themselves, then we have to really dig deep. And that's where the life and spiritual life coaching comes in, Charlotte. So the way I've been trained and the way I have tweaked it, my specialty is actually spiritual life coaching, where we bring in their God. And I ask them, how do you refer to your God? Because people say, oh, do you only, coach atheists or Christians or Baptists or Buddhas or what have you? And the answer is I can coach anybody because I'm referring to them by the name they refer to their higher power as, right? So I don't place that name on there. I ask them how they refer to their higher power. And the bottom line is, if they don't want spiritual life coaching, that usually means that they don't have a higher power that they refer to. So then we just do life coaching, right? And we take the spirituality end out of it. So, but I have found the tools in spiritual life coaching are quite incredible. One is called Voice Dialogue. and I've used that with several clients. This broadcast is not long enough for me to go into the techniques of using that, but it's basically, we have two sides to us, right? We've got one side that really wants to lose the weight, and we got one side that says, no, I really don't want to. And we really create some interesting dialogue, all coming from my clients. I'm just asking the questions, right? And it makes them think of things. I can't tell you how many times people have said, you know what, I never thought of that, right? It didn't cross my mind. And I'm just facilitating it by asking questions. Another thing is being able to forgive people. And that's people in your past that have caused some type of trauma to you. And that's forgiving them at a soul level, right? So it's not going, you know, and face to face unless they feel it necessary. You can do it on a soul level as well. So those are some of the tools that we use. We use a lot of positive affirmations because I think that is so important. And I know some of my clients have seen some of my affirmations I've written in marker on my bathroom mirror. So it's the first thing I get up to brush my teeth, and I see the affirmation in there. And haven't done that in a while, but I've done it in the past for sure. So lots and lots. Of those are just a couple of ones.
Very good. So how would you describe your typical day then?
There is not a typical day, Charlotte. Never a typical day. Love, right? You know, I do some contract work as well, but you know what I love most about what I do is that I get to do it out of my home office. I've created like a little sanctuary here in my home that's very peaceful. I try to keep a really good vibe in here, and people feel comfortable in here, and I get to spend that time in here. And little Miss Bella Boo is there for every coaching, and she is actually being certified as a therapy dog. And it came to me because a lot of my clients pick her right up. And you know, when they're having a difficult time and Bella is in their lap, that is a form of therapy, and it's very calming and soothing. So there is no typical day. I get up, and before I go to bed every night and before I get out of bed every morning, I try to listen to some type of positive podcast. Whether it's Wayne Dyer, Joyce Meyer, anything like that, because I like to put good stuff in my head before I go to bed, and I like to start my day that way as well. So that's definitely always the beginning and the ending of my days. What is in between is it's typically talking to clients. I speak with clients all over the world, so we do Skyping as well. And it's either clients or I'm doing researching or having my quiet time and creating. Because I am, and I think this is one of your questions coming up, so I'll stop there.
Okay, so let's see. How is your experience in education? You did touch on this a little bit earlier, but how has your experience and education contributed to your current life path?
Right. And I think it goes back to, the 2 degrees I have contributed, even though they're not in the exact field that I'm using. But also the work as an investigator and working for the government, you deal with all kinds of people from all walks of life. I was briefing, debriefing 4-star generals, yet I go and volunteer and chat with the homeless. So that experience makes me comfortable around everybody, and I have a realization that on the inside, we're all the same. It doesn't matter what your rank or pay is, right? We're all people. We all are trying to make our way and find our path through this thing called life. So that has been huge. And then, the other thing is being an investigator, I'm a question asker. As a coach, what am I now? I'm a question asker. I ask questions to facilitate. So it was perfect training. And I talk about things all in God's timing. It's not in my timing. And I would have never thought, like I said before, that it would have led me here. But all that training and all those years of being an investigator have literally brought me here today. And it just took more specialized training. And it took my own path as well. After I divorced, trying to figure out who I was. And where I was going. I remember when I divorced Charlotte, I realized that I had invested my entire life into my stepchildren, and his sister was my best friend. So when the marriage was over, I suddenly found myself going, wow, you're in Colorado for 10 years and you don't have a friend one outside of that family, which I love. Great family, absolute incredible people. So then I went down this path of trying to figure out who I was and what I enjoy doing. And once again, all those things have led me to this today, in the health coaching training, the life coaching, spiritual coaching, and several of the other certifications.
And you do very well to inspire people. I watch that because we've become very close, and of course myself, I feel like I'm probably a good example as well. So definitely thank you for that.
Oh, that's a huge kudos.
So with all that you've been doing with your business, cultivating your brand over time, where do you hope to be in the next 5 years with your business or in life in general?
Right, yeah. Well, I think within 5 years, I will be doing VIP days with select clients, but I will have coaches working with me. I'm working on a series of programs that I'd like to put out there that are all web-based, right? Some will be on the life coaching, some will be on the weight loss, and some will be on general health topics. Because I really want everyone to feel their best, live the best, and the more you know, the more knowledge that you're equipped with, the greater your life can be. I mean, the sky is the limit when you combine all those things together. So working on those webinars so I can work from wherever I want. I want to be living in a tropical area in another country, I'm hoping. Maybe I can fly clients in for the VIP days at my little resort. Who knows? Sky's the limit, and I'm excited about it.
That's actually so exciting because I was just recently talking about that myself. We'll likely be living in the same tropical climate one day, and that's definitely one of my life goals. Also, is to just be able to work, from wherever. A good example for me right now is although I'm pet sitting and I'm sort of out of town at the moment, I can take my laptop and pretty much wherever there's a Wi-Fi signal, I can work, and so that's at least for me, that's a dream come true. And I know there's a lot of people out there that are seeking for that kind of knowledge. So as we've been talking, I've been trying to keep an eye on our websites to see if anybody has posted any questions for you, but it doesn't appear that there are any questions. So I just want to take a moment and have you talk about how people can get a hold of you through your website or email or social media or whatever the case may be, and then of course I'll make sure to update that information once we stop the broadcast, so that anybody watching this moving forward can get a hold of you. So what's the best way for people to get a hold of you, Monica?
So my personal email, I'm going to go ahead and give that out, is M as in Mary, S as in Sam, and then my name, Monica, Monica Edwards, EDWARDS, @yahoo.com. Or you can go on to the Living Well 365, no spaces, just thelivingwell365.com, and there's a contact us button. So I look forward to hearing from you, whether you have any comments or feedback, or you want to chat about my services. I literally just love connecting with people and helping them move through the difficult spots in their life, whether it's a health challenge, a weight loss challenge, or an emotional block that they have, or a divorce or life circumstances. Just know that you can move past this and you can find your greatness, and I'd love to be a part of that.
That's so excellent, and that's the reason, one of the reasons why I wanted to do this broadcast and have you sort of push you out into the the internet audience, so to speak, just to spread the knowledge and the wisdom with others that this too shall pass, and everything is temporary, and everything is a chance to learn and grow. And you've definitely inspired my life through your example, and I want to thank you so very much for taking the time to do this broadcast with me. And I hope that anybody watching will get in touch with Monica. Again, the way that you would get a hold of Monica is through personal email, or of course you can visit her website, thelivingwell365.com, and there's a contact link on her site there. Again, my name is Charlotte Piper, and my website is dragonflyoracle.com. And if you have any questions whatsoever about how to get a hold of Monica, or you want to connect with her, she can serve anybody, any place in the world, with the multiple services. And if you have questions about that and you want to reach out to me, feel free to do so. But other than that, we can go ahead and sign off. And Monica, again, thank you today.
Thank you very much, Charlotte. And I want to wish everyone
It's definitely been a pleasure to do with you. Go right ahead.
All right, just wishing everyone a lot of love, light, and blessings for the day. Thanks for coming, everybody. Thank you, Charlotte.
Indeed. Brightest blessings to you all that were viewing and who will view this broadcast in the future. Take care, Monica. Bright blessings to you. And
thank you for this incredible opportunity, Charlotte.